Thank you for joining us on YouTube. Today we are painting a sky full of clouds and then sort of a dry straw field underneath on a 7.5 by 11 inch of cold press Arches paper. And here we go. So here is a sample painting, and here's my piece of paper. I'm doing this from memory now, but yesterday I took a picture. Didn't really look much like this. It's mostly from memory anyway. What I'm doing right now is I'm wetting the top 2/3 of my paper with pretty clean water. Yeah, you can see where it's wet. And I'm going to dry off the edges, especially this edge, because mine is got a little bend where I cut it. So there's my top 2/3 of my paper wet. I'm going to start with French ultramarine blue. Just straight. And I'm going to add that to the top, because skies are darkest at the top and they get lighter as they come down. So pure French ultramarine blue. And I left some white areas. And I did not add a lot more French ultramarine blue to this brush, so it's just softened there. And now I'm going to switch to a different blue. I'm going to paint with manganese blue or cerulean. Really, I'm going to use cerulean. And I'm going to very gently take this down to the horizon line. And sort of blend it up into that French ultramarine blue. So I have some white areas and a lot of blue. And now what I want to try to do is get it to look like clouds. And I want to have some little clouds at the bottom. So I'm taking my paper towel and I dipped it in the water and then I squeezed it out. So I have a damp paper towel here. And I'm just going to sort of touch my paper and make little twisty marks at the top of the cloud and see what happens. And every time I do that, I have to change my paper towel spot, because if I take this blue spot where I scraped it already and I twist it like that, that blue will just ruin my white and dig into the paper. So I have to have a little clean spot every time I do my little twisty, swoopy, cloudy thing. And I want to have them down lower, close to the horizon. And these clouds at the horizon are going to be smaller and softer. And I want this big cloud on top here to sort of go over the top of those. There's some cloud shapes, and now I need to add a little bit of shadow to the bottom. So now I'm going to take my pencil brush, which I got a new one yesterday at the De Young. I went to the Bouquets to Art I have the tiniest bit of Payne's Gray right here. And if you don't have Payne's Gray, then you can use French ultramarine blue and burnt sienna mixed together. I'm going to just very gently, with the side of my brush, put this little Payne's Gray in at the bottom of this big cloud. And I'm using sort of a swooshy, trying to make it look like it has some volume. The shadows on the bottom of the clouds are formed by the sun coming through. These guys have it too, but it's softer. So the clouds near the horizon are much softer than the ones close to us, up in the sky higher. These are farther away. I'm going to put another little cloud right in here. And some more clouds right here. So I want some more clouds. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add pure water and swoosh it up. And then take my paper towel and blot it up and see if I'm starting to look like I got some clouds. I don't know, maybe I just made a mess of it. It's a piece of paper. I can flip it over and paint on the other side if I don't like it. Have little, I don't know why I decided to flick my brush, but I did, and I got water droplets up in that pretty blue part. Kind of looking like a sky. What's this big blobby thing? Trying to fix my spots, but I just made everything worse, so I'll just add water. That's my fix to everything. Add some water. Let's see what we get. Some cirrus clouds up there. Let's see what it is. So I think I'll stop. I think I'm just gonna, well, you know what, maybe not. Maybe I'm gonna add a little water into this gray because it looks kind of big right there. Looking like us clouds. It's a watercolor. Now what I'm going to do is this foreground, and this foreground is, it's a dry wheat field with rows of wheat. It's not really wheat, it's dry grass. And I just wet that, and I didn't really mean to, because I really wanted to paint it dry on dry. So I think I should pause it and dry it.
Wow.
Okay, so this paper's dry. And what I'm going to do is take my pencil brush and some raw sienna. Many of you know that I have gold right next to my raw sienna, and I kind of like having the gold shimmer. And I'm just going to take this gold and let it skip over the paper, or raw sienna, I meant to say raw sienna. So at the far back where it hits the sky, I want my lines to all be going straight across. But from a point here where my finger is, and I could pick any point, but I'm going to pick just slightly off the page. I'm going to use a perspective where these lines are going to radiate out from my finger. So they go straight across here. I like that it's skipping because the white light kind of is reflecting out. And then I'm going to have my angles all come, so like this, straight from here, 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 here. I'm going to put it over here. So this is this corner here. You see my pencil? If it's pointing out from my finger, these lines go out from there, and then they go that way, and they come this way. So they're getting, they make an angle out, and that makes it look like it's rows out in the field that have been cut by the swather. And then out here, they'll be all close together. So it's the angle that gives you that illusion. So here's my disappearing point where my finger is. And I make the top perfectly flat. And then this one I paint this way. And then this one's this way. And this way and this way. So it looks like you're out there in the field. And now I'm going to kind of fill those in a little bit more. Maybe just paint with a little bit of water, especially in the background. We want that to be a little softer. And then I'm going to add some darks. And I can use the Payne's Gray or burnt sienna or a combination of those. Burnt sienna and French ultramarine blue would be good. So the color that I've used here is burnt sienna, my French ultramarine blue from my sky, and a little bit of Payne's Gray. And I'm going to just put some little darker areas because they're kind of the shadows catch. And then I'm going to actually just sort of darken this corner because I don't want my corners to be light. I want my corners to be a little darker. Same thing over here. And just filling it in a little bit, keeping it very simple.
I forgot what Payne's Gray is.
You don't have Payne's Gray.
No, to mix it, just to mix it.
French and burnt sienna.
Okay.
I think it's a great time to sign my name. I'm the signer. Hiding from the memory. So I'm just digging into the paper with the tip of this knife. I'm signing my name, Mary K. S. Jolly. with a C and a circle around it for copyright. And then I'll take a little bit more paint and put it over that, and it'll pop up. It'll be signed there forever. That does look like a wheat field. We could be in the Midwest right now. But now I want to turn this into the coast, and there's the foothills, or the coastal hills, we call it going over the hill, are right in here. I'm going to put those in. Okay, I'm going to mix my favorite green, Antwerp blue, and burnt sienna. I want quite a bit of it. Going to touch my paper towel so I don't have too much in there. I'm just going to see what it looks like over here on the side. I like that. Can I go down over the yellow a little bit? Yep. So now I'm just going to paint hills that are kind of go up and down a little bit. Flat at the bottom where they hit the hayfield or the.
What color?
My favorite green, which
Not
is
the bottom where they hit that. What color? You just said a color. And I'm sorry.
burnt. That's burnt sienna. It's my favorite green. Burnt sienna and no. Yes, and Antwerp. Burnt sienna and Antwerp. Burnt sienna and Antwerp. Okay. And I want where the hillside goes off the paper is going to be higher and then angles down. And then I don't want any tips to be right smack in the center. So this is a lower spot, this is higher. And I want these greens to all be different greens. That's pretty the same right there, but I'm going to add some more colors to it. I'll add just some more raw sienna. I'll let it just mix on the paper. I'll add some more Antwerp or maybe some French. Oh, I like that. Just that pure Antwerp in there. Now, if I put that on like the right side of the hills, oh, I like those watermarks. Those mountains are pretty dark and little, but I don't mind them. Yeah, it's lovely. I especially love your foreground, the way that you got your angles in there and the lights and the highlights. And your clouds are very cloudy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful little painting. Good job.
Thank you.
I like how you have the French at the top to really kind of, it's almost, yeah, it really looks like the sky.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Everybody, your foreground and your skies are just beautiful. And your mountains really look like there's little trees on them. I like that detail. Mm-hmm. It kind of looks like it's
A square.
Yeah, like the field is a square. Very beautiful. Your color of your sky above your mountains is gorgeous.
Mhm.
Really nice. Yeah.
My mountains are smack dab in the middle. That's not good.
It's actually a very captivating painting. It kind of looks like I want to say Arizona, but not
Yeah.
really. Just the mountains have sort of a brown color
Yeah.
to them, and that's actually really beautiful. I
Well,
love
thank you.
your foreground. The angles and the highlights are beautiful. And you know, your sky doesn't have the big fluffy clouds, it has these soft clouds. So the mountains really stand out. That's just
Oh,
a lovely painting.
thank you.
So this is Arlene's painting. Beautiful on the foreground is beautiful with your lines, and I like your mountains that they're in front of each other. Your sky is beautiful. Arlene was not able to see my painting, so she just was going by ear. You did a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Wow. Nice.
I like that you switched it to the ocean. Chris went out on a walk this morning. She lives right on the beach and saw the clouds and the ocean.
Beauteous.
Beautiful. Yeah, really nice.
I like.
Okay. I have moved my paper over to my kitchen table, and I'm going to try and just paint the same scene on a card. So I'm sort of testing out how the transition back to hybrid classes is going to work. So I'm letting the top 2/3 of my card. I'm drawing my tape. I'm going to paint the same thing I just painted because I have the colors figured out and it'll be easy. So I'm adding French ultramarine blue to the top. And I'm going to add cerulean to the sky near the horizon. Whoa, that's too much. Blending with water. I'm just adding water to this mix now. Now I have to get some clouds. I'm adding water. Dry it with my paper towel. Clean part of my paper towel. Yeah, a little bit of Payne's Gray to the bottom of the clouds. That's where the shadow is. It's just here. One little Payne's Gray, it's right there. never know what watercolor's gonna do. It often has this mind of its own. Play with it till you get something that actually looks like a cloud. So that's looking good. That's looking good. Try to put in dark little shadowy things in here. Darker on this one. I'm gonna call that good. Now I'm gonna go to my field at the bottom. That's gonna be raw sienna with the angles. And this part's done. I think I will do one with the ocean. Flying brush. I have an infinity sign on my paper. Now I'm going to put my little row of foothills in. Antwerp and burnt sienna. The sky is still wet, so I think it's going to blur a little bit. It'll be softer up there, kind of like that actually.
Greener has more Antwerp.
Greener, yeah. I feel like putting a few little green splotches down in my straw field, my weed field. One good thing about tape is that you can pull tape off when your painting is still wet, which is not true about PDO. Oh my goodness. Look what I did. I guess I spilled some water. Now I have a weird corner. Well, I have what I have. It's just a little watercolor. So there it is. That's nice.
Wow.
Really nice. Good perspective.
Yeah,
Like your
my-
heels better.
Yeah, and the sky's better too.
Yeah, that's a nice card.
Thank you, Vicky.
Oh, look at that sky.
Wow.
It looks like the Tetons a little bit. The shape of them, they're so jagged. That's nice. Good job. So here's Arlene's, her card. I love how the darks, I love your foreground with the watermark right there. And then the darks right in here. Your mountains are soft, and then you've got your beautiful sky with those clouds. That's a nice
This was a
card.
mistake. I couldn't get it out.
I like it though, because it looks like it's the dark spot of the clouds.
Oops, I have the
Oh yeah. I love how the waves kind of replicate the sky. It's beautiful. Nice, very nice, Chris. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. Have fun painting those clouds.